Does anyone want to tell me how in 1927 Universal Studios came up with this picture of the world, when the first picture of the world wasn't available until the 1960s through NASA? Almost 40 years later? How did Universal Studios know that this is what the world looked like? Especially from space, when we hadn't been to space yet. Does anyone know? Anyone want to guess?
The earth is not flat. The earth is not round. There's a few things that the Bible tells us about the earth, but really its shape overall, I think we are being deceived, and that's part of the idea. I got some proof. I'm just not here to talk. I got some receipts. So on the flat earth model, this is a day. Globers don't celebrate. You too.
When we are facing the sun, it is daytime, and when we are facing away, it is night. The sun appears to move across our sky during the day, but this is in fact the rotation of the earth on its axis.
Bro, the answer has been in our face this whole time, bro. It's literally in our face. Sitting here looking at this, and something's telling me, just look at it, Eric. Just look at it. I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at it. And it says, look at the time. So I'm looking at the different times. So it's 2:27 here in New York. In San Francisco, it's 11:27. In London, it's 6:27. Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, and Sydney. The sun rises on the east, right? So if the sun rises on the east, it's dark in the east, right? And it's a different time for them. So we got the sunrise somewhere over here, right? But the sun is rising for them, and it's already afternoon. So that's where my mind thought was. So I'm like, fuck all that. I don't give a shit. I don't. The answer is simpler. The earth is not round, it's not flat, it's not hollow. Because if you look at it like this, as per both of these models, the earth gets sun every day. The earth gets sun every day. Every parts of the earth gets sun every day. Or do they? Let's look at Alaska. That's Alaska right there. You can see Alaska here in the flat earth model. Now in this model, the sun and the moon go around like this, like I showed you before. This model, wait, let's back up. In this model, the earth is spinning on this axis around the sun. While it's spinning, the sun is touching every part of the earth. Both of these theories tell us that the earth gets sun all day long, every day. So, how does Alaska get 24 hours of uninterrupted sunlight during the summertime? How do they get, if all of these movements are happening, why does that happen? Not only that, 80 straight days of daylight in the summer and 67 days of darkness. So it doesn't get sun for 67 days. The earth model, the flat earth model, the round earth model do not make any sense with this right here. And I'm whispering because baby's sleeping, but baby, what's up? I will be yelling. But look at it. It's just right there. The answer is in her eyes, y'all. There's no way. Listen, don't sit here and try to debate me on this shit. Don't sit here. Look at the maps. Look at the maps. How does this happen? Don't tell me the earth is tilted on its axis. Flat earthers, listen, I would say that the earth is more flat than it is round. But at the end of the day, I don't know shit. I don't know what color it is. I mean, what shape it is. See? It's as simple as that. I'm out of here, y'all. I did something there.
But it's also hoped that on the 23rd of April, everybody in the country will receive one of these alerts. And the idea is that by having everyone in the country receive it, they also have to acknowledge it as well. And that will be, they won't be able to continue using their phone unless they acknowledge it. And that's going to be on the 23rd of April.
Let's be turning that shit off. Settings, notifications, advanced settings, wireless emergency alerts. What have we got here? Yeah, just go and turn all those off. You ain't locking me out of my phone. See you on the other side, motherfuckers.
I'm scratching my head at this one, and I'm thinking there's only two reasons why they would want to buzz your phone and make us all aware. One is nuclear attack, and the second is alien invasion. So is there something, you see, I sit here and I think, everybody laughs about this, but why does somebody want to ring my phone without me asking for it?
It's commonly used in the States, in the Netherlands.
Commonly.
Well, they do actually buzz people's phones whenever there's a hurricane coming, or in the case of COVID, there were lots of advice given through these
So when do you think the next
standings.
hurricane will hit us?
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the reason is here, but I guess it's just, post-pandemic precautions.
No, it's because they think they're going to be nuclear missiles fired from Russia, or they're aware of something, or they're aware that there has been an alien invasion. We have to point out we don't know that. But what we also don't know is why Downing Street want to do this, and I'm just putting the question out there.
They love to throw a microphone around in so-called outer space. Why not just be wireless? What are we back, in the 70s or 80s still using these microphones? This is just a prop, and they're trying to show off their zero-G and so-called ISS. But again, nothing but smoke and mirrors, nonsense garbage from these frauds, these liars. Now watch this. As this one so-called astronaut is holding this inflatable globe. Let's play this clip and take a look at what happens. And he drops it. And look at the expressions from all the other so-called astronauts. And look at this face here, the one in the middle, the ringleader of the circus. And there he goes. And look at her face here as it drops. Oops. But of course, the NASA fanboys, the SpaceX fanboys, they're not going to have anything to do with this. They're going to make every excuse in the book, of course, because once someone believes a lie, it's very hard to unbelieve a lie. And that's all comes down to ego. And ego is the biggest enemy of truth.
Hubble, etc.
Okay. So if the Earth were actually this size, the International Space Station would be orbiting about a half an inch above the surface. And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, what's his name? Felix Baumgartner. He would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump. Now, I don't. It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. Right. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, "Wow, he's in space. Look at that." No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat.
24 miles high is the height Felix Baumgartner was at when he did the Red Bull space jump. At 24 miles, they have to fake the curvature in order to give you guys something to marvel at. This footage you're looking at right here is an amateur high altitude balloon, 24 miles high, okay? That's 4 times the height of a commercial aircraft. You don't see any curve, and yet we have people that claim they've seen the curve and they've never been higher than a commercial aircraft. Learn what indoctrination is. One of the symptoms of indoctrination is to lie to yourself so as not to disrupt or shatter your belief system, no matter how ridiculous it may be.
Oh my days. When you think you've seen it all, you ain't seen nothing yet. So all this time, we've only been touching the surface. You thought the pyramids was big. Well, guess what? They're even bigger. Even in the movie Dusk Till Dawn, they tried to show us, but I guess we couldn't see it. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind.
The old buildings from the old world, the sacred buildings, they used to have these brass balls and they loaded them up with mercury and they'd put them real high up so that they could gather atmospheric energy which is free energy. The higher you go up, the more energy that's up there. And they would run, for example, a copper wire down into their home, and they could use that if they wanted free energy or to light their light bulbs or whatever things that they had in the home. A lot of this is never disclosed because, for example, when we look at all of these things from the past, we start to look at a lot of things were about electrical conductivity. Look at that. They all look like conductors, right? Sacred buildings looking like conductors. They're built like conductors. There's free energy right there. Free energy right there. But the thing is they changed all the history to make it look like everybody was fighting each other. It was medieval. People were going against each other. But in reality, I think the hidden history of the past is very different than what we've been taught.
Is it possible there was an ancient secret to growing enormous vegetables without the need of chemical fertilizers? Electroculture was rediscovered in the late 1770s. A French farmer began some experiments watering plants with electrified water. In 1771, he reported his findings that the germination of seeds and the sprouting of bulbs was quicker, and when the plants were electrified, they grew bigger. Incredibly, he also found plants giving off new roots and branches in the late fall, something that never typically happens. In 1783, he published a book called The Electrification of Vegetables, which included a description of the first electrocultural tool. The system consisted of copper rods placed in the soil that serves as antennas for the ambient energy surrounding. Electroculture is not pseudoscience. In 2021, the journal Nature reported on a Chinese group using electroculture. The researchers saw a dramatic reduction in the requirements of fertilizer, pesticides, as well as a 40% increase in yield.